Hi, welcome to this session on network security and forensics. We had been discussing about evidence capture. We have been discussing about evidence capturing in wire networks and wireless networks. We also saw one case study of how one could go ahead and use command line in Linux to identify the attacker or to identify any suspicious activity that occurs in the network. We were making use of Wireshark mostly and the related tools like T-Shark. What we will do now is we will now see how it is beneficial to actually use some of the existing tools or to write scripts. So, what as a network forensic person, there are some repeated activity that we will like to do. So, what we could do is we could write our own software using many of these tools like T-Shark, and we could put it in a very nice framework. In this session, we will just discuss about one such particular tool, called Network Miner. This is actually one part of it is freely available to you, the other part you have to buy. But since it is freely available, we will make use of the freely available part, and then we will demo how this tool can reduce the workload of a forensic person. So, what we are going to do is we are going to go ahead and have another case study. So, this case study goes something like this. In the first case study, we saw that this person called Undercover was trying to send a recipe to a particular person. So, this person gets caught because we did some forensic analysis, and what happens is this person is after being released on bail, this person disappears. But it looks like the forensic investigators were actually monitoring her network activity before she left the town. So, what they did was they actually found out that she was communicating with her secret lover before she left the town. So, what we could do now is how could one use this packet capture the captured packets and identify what has happened with this person. So, as a forensic investigator, you will be very happy to find out what is Anne's email address which she has been using right now, what is her password, and what is her lover's email address, and what are the two things that this person had told her lover, etc. So, what we could do is we could capture the packets and use a forensic tool and identify what has gone wrong. Now, we could see that if we can using such kind of tools, life becomes extremely easy, but definitely as a forensic investigator life is not easy, but well, such tools can reduce your load on finding out what has happened. So, what we could use is we will use a tool called Network Miner, and we will just look at a demo of a tool on how to identify or how to answer all these questions that are posed. Please understand that the same work can even be done with the current command line tools like TCP dump, T-Shark, etc., but then having a framework like this or having a tool like this actually helps. So, we will now look into the demo of the tool. So, see, actually this tool called Network Miner is available in Windows version. You could actually use Wine and then start running it on Linux. So, in our case we have used Wine to run this Windows version of the tool, and once you open the tool, you see that it has 3 tabs. One is known as the file, the tools, and the help, and then it has a lot of other tabs that you can use like host, files, image, message, credential, session, DNS, parameter, keyword, anomaly, etc. And on the right hand side you see something known as a case panel. And what we could do now is we will take the evidence file and make this Network Miner read the evidence file. So, I will open the file and then I read the evidence file, and once I open the evidence file, you see this tool actually reads the evidence file and splits the data from the evidence file into the different tabs. Say for example, the host tab, which we are going to see right now, actually it tells you what are all the hosts that were involved in the transaction. Okay. So, you could see that there is a host called 10.1.1.20 and then it has sent one packet, it has received another packet, that is not of much interest to us. Then there is this 64.12.78.4. So, if you remember, you can use whois to find out who are these 64.12 addresses and all that. So, in this case, for example, it tells you that there is a Windows machine, and remember this tool makes use of lot of other tools that you had learnt in the previous courses like Nmap. So, it does a port scanning, it does a OS fingerprinting, etc. all these activities it does. So, it is not just one you make use of T-Shark alone, we are also using other tools that were used in when you are talking about the OS security course. Okay. So, it makes use of all the tools and then finally maps the computers, it maps the OSs, it maps the ports, etc. So, you could see that there are many machines that are involved. For example, it is able to identify a Windows machine which has sent 255 packets and received 235 packets, and then it has identified another public address machine. So, likewise it is identified many machines, okay, using which communication has taken place, and you could also see that different machines have sent different number of packets, etc. So, in this way we are able to first find out who are all the hosts that were involved in the transactions. And one of the stuff that if you see that 192.168.1.159 was Anne's laptop. So, this is the name of the laptop, I mean she usually do device name or something. So, it just tells you that Anne was using this laptop and it has sent about 254 packets and received about 256 packets, and it had an outgoing session to one of the server which is an SMTP server, which essentially tells you that this person was involved in sending out some sort of an email. So, now you are very curious about what is the email, to whom she has sent this email, what is the content of the email, etc. And that is exactly what this software can identify. So, let us look at what is the host and what is the SMTP. So, if you go to files, okay, now this tells you what are all the files that were exchanged between these two people. So, there is something like so if you look, there are some HTML files, then EML is email files, and then docx files, documents, and then there is a secret rendezvous document file, etc. So, it also finds out. Now, we can actually go and edit these files. I mean, if you remember how we had captured this docx file in the last, it had something known as fingerprinting. There was a fingerprinting kind of stuff for header, then there is fingerprinting for tail, and between these two the document was stuffed. So, similarly you can identify the documents and this tool actually identifies it. And what we can do is you can actually look into the HTML file. Okay, you just have to click the file and right click, and then you can actually open the file. Let me give some time to open, because the very first time it is opening a browser. So, in the meantime let us adjust the screen so that it comes out. So, once the HTML file is up, you will be able to view the contents of the HTML. So, let us see, yeah. So, there it is, the contents of the HTML says that sorry I can't do lunch next week, after all heading out of town another time. So, that was one email that was sent, and this is the email file. Okay, you can even open the email. Sometimes if you do not have the corresponding program to open it, it will just say success and it does not do anything. Okay, similarly you can look at another HTML file called rendezvous.html. Let us open it now, hopefully. So, it says, hi sweetheart, bring your fake passport and basic address attached. So, you can see that there was a secret communication that was going on, and they have also given some kind of address that has been given as attachment, and this is actually the emails that have got exchanged. We will also see the emails, but since there is not associated tool to open this, it just says success and then it comes out. Now, yes, we can now find out the docx file. So, let us go and take out the docx file. So, here is the docx file. So, it just tells you that this person has sent a docx file along with the location where they were planning to meet. So, it just says that meet me at the fountain near the rendezvous point, address below, I am bringing all cash. So, essentially what has happened is, so this tells you that okay, what is the email that was sent. Remember, the email had an embedded document, and then the email also had an image of the location where they are trying to meet, and this tool is able to detect what are all the communication that has happened and where they are planning to meet, etc. Okay. So, this is, they have sent it in the form of a Word document. So, you might ask, I mean, so should we not send Word documents anymore, should we send it in other format? No, as I told you, it is a question of having a fingerprints. So, even PDF has got a fingerprinting mechanism. So, if you have this kind of fingerprint or signature, whatever you call it, okay, signature for particular documents, then you will be able to access those documents. So, this, in this way you are able to identify what are all the communication that has happened. Then if there are any image files that they had exchanged, okay, you could see that in the image. You can also look at the messages that they had communicated. So, this is actually what it is trying to do, is trying to capture the email communication that was sent between these two people. So, here is some email communication. You see this, that sorry I can't do lunch next week. You see, whatever we had seen, that EML, okay, that is now getting captured here. And the advantage of I mean with this screen is that if you look at it just let us open this. Okay. So, you see what is the message to, what is the subject line and all that. So, if you look at this, it tells you what is the email of Undercover. Okay. So, it says that it is sneaky G3 G33 okay, at k@aol.com. So, if you look at this, then there is another email address, and then it tells you at what time this email was sent. So, you could actually now find out. Okay. So, if you say it is sent on Saturday the 10th October 2009 at 7:38. So, here it is, you are actually establishing a timeline, you are also establishing what is the message that has been sent, you are also telling from which computer the message was sent and from where they are planning to meet, and hopefully if no one leaks out this news, you will be able to capture this person when they are departing for a particular place, or you could capture them at the particular place. Okay. So, there are a lot of such information that is given, and then it also talks about the credentials. So, the whole point about the credentials is what is the username and the password of this person Undercover. Okay. So, if you look at this, it is sneaky yg33k@aol.com is the username. You see it on the right hand side, okay, username, and then there is this password. So, you are able to see both the username and the password of this person. So, you can actually copy the username and password, and actually I mean once you know the username and password, and cracking someone's email box is very easy. Okay. So, in this way, so it also tells you when the person had logged in. Okay. So, it has I mean even though it says that the valid login or things is unknown, but at the end of the day you get the username, the password, the email, when it was sent, on the place where they are trying to meet, and I think I mean this is good enough evidence for someone to act upon. Okay. So, this is the advantage of using such a tool. Okay. It's I mean we are not endorsing that you must use this, but we are just saying that such tools, okay, we are taking this as an example, and we can, the idea is that people have put in a lot of effort. So, here is it also talks about the DNS. Remember we were looking at what are the domains it contacted, and then what is the DNS server it contacted, and then you also have got to establish what is the IP address, which is easily, you can get easily. Okay. And so, all these things can be got from this this kind of a tool. Okay. It also tells you the parameters. So, now this is very interesting. So, it has captured the firewall and the syslog messages. So, you will be able to go through this I mean and derive much more information. So, so establishing that something has happened in a foolproof manner, you could use all these information. So, it has almost all the information, what is the firewall blocked, and you I mean, and can you guess the name of the person on the other side? Okay, it was there in one of the screens. Okay. So, anyway, the secret X, his name was there in one of the screens. So, in this way, okay, you will be able to identify, okay, what has exactly happened, okay, and how. So, the name of the person is Mr. Secret X at aol.com. So, this is the other person with whom she has tried to communicate. So, using this kind of tool, you are able to actually capture, okay, the data, okay, and you can actually clear and then load another file, etc. So, this is the way this tool works, and what we have been telling you is that okay, so you should be able to use such kind of tools. We just showed an example of one of the tools, to use such tools and then do the forensic analysis much quicker. Okay, thank you very much.